everyone. Last session for the day, and it's very difficult. I think people who are outside, they should come in and listen to it. It's because it's going to concern them more than anything. And if they're out, they're missing it out, right? So that's what I have guest gathering with me who are distinguished panelists. But before we talk of the cybersecurity and data privacy, we have been talking of data privacy since evening, and we are talking of data, right? And everybody talks of data, they say, where's my data, what, all those things, and data privacy has been a buzzword. But what's your data? Anyone? I want to keep it interactive because last session, very difficult to moderate as well. So we don't want to be monologue. So what's your data? Anyone? All answers are right. Just say, what's your data? Any information in the term, if you can elaborate, that's too broad.
My details, my name, where do I work, what do I have, anything which...
Okay.
Any
and anybody else? If you can break it down to granular level, I think that will be very great. We call it, yes?
Emails.
Emails? Okay. That's what we all talk of the data in the form of your emails or your normal office data, right? Anybody else?
Any of my data which is not public.
Not public. So we have two categories of data. One is a personal identifiable data and non-personal identifiable data, which identifies me. And data is what? Your data is your voice today, your face, your photograph, your video kind of thing, and also what could be your data? Everybody talks of metaverse today, that's what a buzzword, again, second technology. Your eye movement is your data. Your eyebrows are your data. Your skin is your data. Your heart is your data, right? Eye dilation is your data. And even your movement of your hands is your data. So if you look at this kind of data, and we have to really do a privacy about it, is it easy? Anyone? Yes, no? The audience, either we agree or we disagree, right?
Agree fully.
Fully agree, sir. Wonderful. So, voice is data. And all the companies who are there, they try to do only three things on you. One is either they want to monetize you, manipulate you, or, monitor you. And that's what is all happening. And in today's panel, we're going to be talking of two major issues. Though we have a paucity of time, I think we try to do the justice in the next 30 minutes, 27 minutes to be very precise. The cybersecurity of how we're going to safeguard this data against the data which I have told you. And it's not going to be very easy. And I'll put my questions to the panelists who are there, and we'll take it further. So we have Anuj, how this Data Privacy Act, which we've already been talking of, I'll not elaborate that, is really helping us, looking into these particular aspect of the data privacy.
This new law, which was formed after quite a bit of deliberation in this country, is actually a bit draconian, that it does not distinguish between any kind of a sensitive data and data. So anything and everything becomes a data. So your phone number, which is you are happily sharing with everybody else in this hall, you can claim tomorrow that it is being violated or breached. So this is slightly unique as far as the whole world data privacy regulations are concerned. But looking at the individuals, it is very, very important that we have to have this kind of a law in this country. We had been waiting since the Puttaswamy judgment in 2017, I believe. And quite a bit of drafts came and went by. And finally, this law is there. Somebody mentioned 250 crores is a penalty. Earlier, actually, it was criminal offense also. But fortunately, and by the lobbying by the big tech or the data colonizers, it is no more a offense in this country, but it's still a civil wrong is there. And a very interesting part is that if you make a false complaint, you will be fined for 10,000 rupees. So very unique features in this law and much awaited. And we are all looking for the rules to be published. and this will be very, very useful for individuals to claim privacy over their data. So far, many high courts, especially Delhi High Court, has declared in many cases that data is not only a private item, but everybody has got a right to recall. So something which has gone into the public domain, it still remains the right of the individual to recall that data. So your life remains a private domain. So for that, all these reasons, this is a very important piece of legislation, and we look forward for its full implementation.
Thank you, Dr. Anuj. And over to General Anand, and you're all aware of the OpenAI, and that's what we are talking about, the ChatGPT, right? And there are already noise about the data, intellectual property right violations which are happening. There are lots of writers who are complaining about their data being available with the ChatGPT, right? Whenever they are searching that. And yesterday itself, the OpenAI, they published a threat intelligence report. It's a very interesting, I'll not put it that it's authenticated, it's uncorroborated. It was on the Twitter, to which a Minister of IT also commented. It says that the Indian elections were being tampered by an Israeli firm, right? And they were, kind of manipulating the tweets, they were manipulating the post in the favor of Congress and denouncing BJP. So it's within the columns, it's uncorroborated. Let's see how it really shapes up. But this is the OpenAI PDF threat intelligence report in the public already there, right? So the privacy of this kind of thing, and that is how the OpenAI picks up all the, and what Captain Sanjay was also bringing up, the ChatGPT, how you have the LLM, the large language model, really working. So General Anand, I think, you can throw the light on how the privacy is really becoming a problem with the OpenAI coming in. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Inderjeet. I think AI, very nicely brought out by Sanjay, has really revolutionized everything that we're doing today in the last, about 3 to 4 years. The Puttaswamy judgment came in about 2017. The first draft of DPDP came in 2018. From 2018 till now, it's taken us 6-7 years to begin an act. But AI has come in within 2 to 3 years. So that's how fast things are changing, and if you're not agile, not only in how we catch on to where the problem lies, but also on bringing in regulation and then enforcing it, I think we are really going to be in a outward spiral. So as OpenAI comes in, do we even realize how much of data we are feeding into it without even thinking about it? The first thing that the agreements that you put into it when you log into your OpenAI is that you are allowing a lot of data that you are now sending out in terms of prompts and questions to be recorded and kept with them. If you were to ask OpenAI as to, do you have a memory of what all I've asked? It's going to say yes. Is it confidential to me? Maybe. So it may or may not be confidential to you. Let me assure you, it can be used by them anywhere, anytime, without your consent. If you want your consent to be inserted into it, there has to be a regulation. And I'm sure Anuj will go by it. Even our DPDP Act, which we have brought in over here, what enforcement capability does it have if my data is being used on the United States, in a firm in the United States? So if my data is not onshore, it is offshore, there is nobody who can stop them from using my data. So that is the extent to which we are getting compromised. How are we going to keep a check on it? We have to find technological means to keep a check on it, besides, of course, regulation and enforcement. So as far as we are concerned today, if we don't come up with our own data storages, if we don't come up with our own OpenAIs, which so many people are trying to create, and it's not too costly, I think we are all heading for a data crash coming in the future. So there's a lot of business which I think we would be seeing coming up if we are able to bring up and invest in these kind of softwares, in these kind of platforms, That, I mean, one of them could very well be setting up our own cloud. We could have private clouds within industry itself. So a big company perhaps is already creating its own cloud, keeping its own databases so that they're secure. So this is not to scare us all off from OpenAI. I think OpenAI is a massive tool that we have in our hands today. It has to be done with a level of awareness. Today, it will tell you what design system you need to do if I give it the correct prompts for Wipro, for your security. But it will also tell another person how to get through that system as well, sir. So today, if ChatGPT 4o Omni has capability to do both, who's going to use it for what with the data available? That's the moot question. I'll close here.
Yep. Thank you, sir, and very pertinent point. And we just want to get a bit more deeper of deep fake and the deep voice which we all talk of. And how's a deep voice being created? Anyone? We're talking of deep fake, deep voice. How's a deep voice being created? Anyone? I just want to keep the minds tickling so that let's make it interesting. It's as simple as that. Vikram sir's videos are there on the, yeah, please. Perfect. Vikram sir's videos are there on the social media all over, right? And I put a prompt saying that 5 best videos of Vikram sir, okay? It will list me out the 5 best videos. Now I tell, which is the best line which has been spoken by him. It will create a line and give it to me. Now I prompt and tell him, I have to say that I'm Vikram Singh. I'm stuck in a traffic. Can you help me? Now it's going to create that video, and in an MP3 format, it will give it to you. What you're going to do is, you're going to spoof the number of Vikram Singh ji and send a message to his assistant in the morning and tell him that I'm stuck at the airport, I need you to do a certain thing, and then he shuts on the call. And then he types saying that, just transfer 5 lakh rupees to so-and-so because it's required. What is the assistant going to do? Transfer the fund. When he meets him, because when he or she, listens to him, it's his call, his voice. Can she deny it? No. This is what is a deep fake which is all happening. Second is, we already saw the case of Rashmika Mandana deep fakes which have been made. And earlier time we used to require 5,000 photographs to make a deep fake. With the open AI coming up, you require just 1 photograph to create a deep fake. And that's what is a problem when I spoke of the data privacy. Even single photograph of you, and I can make that photograph talk what? The same voice which he or she is in. And the same kind of eye movement looking so real. Over to Veena, who's going to be telling us about the women's safety, which is so very important with the deepfakes really coming up and manipulation of the deepfakes and how the data privacy, from the women's safety point of view, I think you can throw the light. I will come to you.
Thank you, Inderjeet. So aren't we scared? We are talking about data, it's going here, there, where it's going. So we all are scared. Well, I think data protection is very important for everyone, but it can be especially very crucial for women when we talk about women's safety, because women are the people who are more on they're more pro on shopping. So starting from the shopping, grocery, household budget handling, they're watching movie, going swiping credit cards, under CCTV surveillance, going to visit somebody, then giving their information, Aadhaar card, so everything has been exposed. So especially our mothers, I think you can relate, like our moms, they watch any kind of videos, they download anything, and when we download things, we always allow. We don't even see what are the privacy, and when they're loner, they watch and they order, and even if you're not at home, they'll call their neighbor or some servant, can you just download this for me, can you do this for me? And I want to give few examples, like very relevant example. Recently, Supreme Court has passed a judgment allowing all the state making a law for abortion. Now think about it, when it will happen, so the government agency, they will have a right to take the data from the doctors and from the relevant laboratory or the places. So where my data is going, you're not sure. So you will have a minor girls, you have a unmarried, you have a married couple, everybody. Now, we were talking about DPTP. I think DPTP yet has not given any possibility, and I think there is a possibility maybe the government agency may be exempted by not touching upon and using this data. So as of now, it's so complicated. And I'll give you another example. There's an app, like women can relate, like thanks to AI, we have many apps. So we have another app which called Flow, which gives the data for the birth control, pregnancy, your periods, your date, your cycle, your marriage status, everything is there. Now, for everybody, there's another app, which is Strava, like, health app. And there was a report that they were under scrutiny because the data has been leaked, and it was military and like troops data has been leaked through that app, because this is the GPS location sharing app, which is globally being used, and million of social community, which is the cyclist and bicyclist and the runner group, they use this. So suppose I am running so many kilometers, so it has a pattern that I started at 5:30, and then I started at this much of time, so everybody knows that 5:30 I was out of my home. And then I can give you a couple of, many more relevance, like, okay, talk about these women's safety apps. Women's safety apps, there's the government apps. How can women's safety apps sharing location enhance your women's safety? Because you've already shared the location. While going into a cab, you're sharing your location. Now, who's handling those location? Who's handling the data? So there's always a third-party risk, which we are always under risk. And then I think if we talk about kids, human trafficking, so data is going everywhere. We are not safe. Who's using our data? And day and night. So I think they are all the gentlemen. I'm not saying that you will be on dating app, but then when you check your app, there are thousands of dating apps. You name anything and you download sometime. It's not necessarily like, you download for a different purpose, but maybe sometime for like, Bumble is meant for the networking, you made friends to friends. So you download those apps and it always asks, privacy, it always asks allow, and you do allow because you have no other choice. And while swiping your credit card and using free Wi-Fi, many of us, you go out. How many of you don't use free Wi-Fi when you're traveling somewhere else out of India? You do use or you don't do use? When you know it, so many, I'm talking majority of people when they're traveling abroad, maximum time they use free Wi-Fi for using the communication ways and etc. We download local apps, maybe the metro, and recent case, the Lyft. It's an American app and it's like equivalent to Uber. So it says like there was a data like, while sharing cab, the co-passenger could found the another, like, for a woman, and he reached out to her and he has sent her messages. Now tell me, if you have an account, by chance if you're wearing your t-shirt which has your company very prominent logo, do you think I can reach out to your email? Is it easy? Yeah, it says your website and you just say Veena Gupta @blah blah blah. So he reached out to her through the email, he sent her the email and it was a fake email. So I think I can go on and on since we have very limited time. So I would say like we need lots of clarity in DPTP Act, we need lots of information, we need lots of empowerment, we need lots of training, and especially our senior citizen, our mothers, we need to tell them, and especially our girls. And look at the family, look at the parents, like small child, 3 years child, she has all the access to any kind of videos, YouTube videos. Khana bhi khana hai to videos dekh ke hi khana hai. So I think information is very, very important, and we are the one who are sharing every information on the net. We are everywhere. Social media, we can't live without it, but yes, we have to be very smart how we have to use it, knowing the data privacy, and even like when you're going to the, and I think that we are a security professional, we have to tell our guards when we are giving the SOPs, we have to educate them whether you should click the picture. If they're clicking the picture for the visitor management, where are they saving it? They are clicking those pictures on their personal mobile. Are we sure that they are not using somewhere else? So I think there are many things which is very relevant. I will just sum up with this.
So thank you, Veena. I think very pertinent point, and you raise a point of risk, which is here, and this is a very wide open space, and while you talk about the data privacy, the risks are plenty, and there is no one point solution which can be given right now. and it's a point of discussion. And over to Garima, who's working on, identifying the deep fakes, and that's where she comes from a lot of technical background of building up a detection system. So over to you, Garima.
Yeah, actually, first of all, I'm privileged to be on this panel, and everybody is so senior than me, so I might not be able to contribute much, but I have made a little attempt. So in the market today, we have, if you look at courses, free courses, Udemy courses, you have a lot of courses on deepfake creation, but very few courses, or I think next to none on deepfake detection. So identifying that there is a gap in terms of knowledge enhancement. I offered trainings on deepfake detection, and luckily we have come up with a detector. Now, the detector works on the principle of liveliness, detecting the liveliness of a person. Usually, so far there are a lot of detectors which actually, you can use them post a crisis or post an incident, right? But the detector which we have, we can actually use it during a live video conference. So if there's a live video conference going on, let's say somebody is giving an exam, and an imposter is sitting with a mask, a deep fake mask. So the detector will be able to establish whether that student is the one who's supposed to give the exam or not. So that is something which, and as Pawan sir said, that the DPDP Act, it took a lot of time, and deepfakes are going on a much faster pace. So one thing which Colonel Barara also mentioned is that it is very easy to create a deepfake. And the act does not cover everything. So for instance, I can make if I make any YouTube videos, or if I blog something, that information is not covered by the DPDP Act. And anybody would probably just need 10 minutes of my data in order to create a synthetic voice, and then use text to speech to get me to say anything. You're already covered by the IT Act. Yeah. And I was just about to come to that. And when the laws, with respect to the laws there are no specific laws pertaining to deepfake, although IT Act 66E, 66D, 67, so I'm right about the yes, sections? Yeah. Those are the ones which can be used to, prosecute cases with respect to any deepfake, but we don't really even have a special law with respect to deepfake technology. So that's it.
Thank you very much, I think, and congrats to you for building up a detector. We are just 7 minutes short, so I will go to the last round. And over to you, Dr. Anuj, for one key point which you want to convey to the audience as regards the data privacy is concerned. What should they be concerned about?
Data privacy, basically, we are sharing our own data. Now, then we are complaining. We all know that deepfakes can be created using our own video or audio. So there is no need to announce to the whole world that I am going to Shimla with my wife of 7 years, for this and that and everything. How much you love her or not, that is immaterial to the whole world, because they have their own problems already. So I think as far as the law is concerned, law is definitely giving you a complete right and control over your data. In fact, in the DPDP Act, even after your data, how it will be treated, there is a provision there that after death, the data becomes inheritable. But probably we all need to enjoy our life when we are alive. After death, पता नहीं क्या होता है, कौन कहाँ जाता है, उसका कुछ पता नहीं चलता है, केवल कहते ही हैं. तो इसलिए we need to be careful while we are sharing our data. Of course, law is very much there. And if there is a misuse, of course, courts have been in this country enforcing fundamental rights zealously and against the governments, state governments, central government. So it is very much there. But one should be careful while sharing the personal data. And in case of any difficulty, the lawyers are there. So I'm there. So you can take my number. And I'm taking everybody to task. The high courts are open even during the recess. छुट्टियाँ नहीं हैं बिल्कुल भी. 3 बेंच चल रही हैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट में, 2 बेंच चल रही हैं दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट में. तो ये गलत खबर है कि छुट्टियाँ हैं. हम लोग बिल्कुल ड्रेस में हैं, तैयार हैं और 24/7 काम कर रहे हैं फंडामेंटल राइट्स को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए. प्राइवेसी हैज़ बीन डिक्लेयर्ड बाय ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट एज द फंडामेंटल राइट इन दिस कंट्री. तो चिंता की कोई बात नहीं है. बाकी ये थोड़ा प्यार व्यार जो है वो घर में ही करें, उसको सोशल मीडिया से बचा के. थैंक यू.
What do you, sir, your views on the data privacy?
So I think Anuj has really elaborated quite well on the privacy part on our private lives. But just a thought that I can leave with everyone is about the data security of businesses. I think we're sitting on a bit of a bomb. I don't want to sound like a doomsdayer, but we are heading towards that. The amount of ransomware, the amount of ransom that is being paid out today is all hidden. Nobody is talking about it. We sitting here are the ones who are supposed to protect them perhaps from paying those ransoms. Can we build up that awareness, a greater awareness amongst the CEOs, amongst the founders of big companies, amongst the key personnel, key management personnel of all organizations, that they need to protect themselves a little better. Otherwise, we will find small businesses and big businesses bellying up and going bankrupt. This could very well happen in a big way, more so as non-state actors begin to become more and more active. So I think we need to build up that awareness, and it has to start from this room, and it has to percolate up very quickly.
Thank you, sir. And a very pertinent point of ransomware. Everybody talks of AI. AI is all leveraging on data, and that's where is the most important, and the integrity of the data is the most important. The privacy of that data is very important. And everybody talks of the good part of the AI. Has anybody spoken of data poisoning any conference? No. Anyone? That's a bigger animal than even when you can think of AI altogether. Right? So that's the area which is there. So over to you, Veena, for your remarks on this.
So I would say summer holidays are on. Thieves are looking for you. Don't post anything on social media. I've seen many women, many of us actually. We do post my ticket, my flight ticket, even sometimes we post our, what do you call that? Boarding card, itinerary, and say, oh, going for a holiday, spending time with family at Goa, etc., etc. So do not post that, first of all. Thieves are there. Don't post, oh, I got a jewelry from my husband on my anniversary, etc. Then you have a thief at home. So you have to be very careful what you're posting on social media, especially with the kids. You know, many times we post, oh, happy birthday to my small child, he's wearing nice dress. So whatever you're posting gets stored on that company who's handling the data. So you really don't know who's collecting that data, and you know it's a big business. The people who are collecting data, they're getting richer day by day, and we are the stupid, sorry to say, including me, we share the data, and we are the one who are sharing data by using AI, by using app, by doing shopping, by going hey, why, whatever we are doing, we are the one who are responsible for this. I would say training and awareness is very, very important. Don't get confused in IT Act and DPTP Act. It's just like you have to be very, very careful. Just understand data protection is your human right, and just go for that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think you touched upon very, very important points. Yeah, Garima, over to you.
So I would like to say that it is very important to know, detect if you have been hacked or not, if your data has been leaked or not. So for instance, while it is, Veena is absolutely right that you have to be very careful about what you post online, and so is Anuj has made the same point. But if I can, get to know your GPS location by simply, asking you to click on a link. Right, there is something called IP logger. I can create a short link and I can get to know your GPS coordinates. So it is very, very important for us to also protect our devices. In order to protect our devices, there are certain codes which actually can be very helpful. So for instance, star hash 061 hash is something which you can use to check your IMEI number. And you can then check it, cross-check it with your phone with your IMEI number on your phone. If it is different, then you've probably been hacked. Similarly, you can there are different codes for checking your last SIM update. There are codes for checking GPS spoofing. GPS spoofing is something I think nobody has spoken about in this particular conference. Now, it is actually very dangerous because by GPS spoofing, what happens is that you are actually manipulating the GPS coordinates. and it can have an impact on national security, it can have an impact on aviation sector, it can have an impact on transport safety. So even to check whether your GPS has been spoofed with respect to your phone, you can use a code which is #1472365 double hash. So, it is very, very important to keep, to be very careful about what you're sharing, but it is equally important to keep your devices safe and keep on detecting and keep on figuring out if there is something which has been compromised or not.
Thank you very much. Very interesting inputs. So before we close, how many of you are the users of social media? Please raise a hand higher. I'm also a user of social media. Perfect. Whenever you open your app, you see advertisements which are coming up, right? Okay? And you click it, you buy something. And the other question is, what is the valuation of Facebook or valuation of Google, Microsoft? Google and Microsoft are $1 trillion companies. 2 trillion plus is Google. Do they have any product? Yes, no? How many for yes? They got a product? Do they have the product? They don't have the product. How they become a $2 trillion? Our data is their product. Perfect. So, are we the users of social media, Google and all those things? Are we? Yes? Still yes? No? You're the product. You're the product. And you see the barcodes on the all whatever you buy today, no, to price. You have the barcode. The more amount of data you're putting in, the more is your value. And that's what is your data, which is being sold every day, like a market, which is like a stock exchange. There's a data aggregator market, which buys your data every day, maybe $1, 30 cents, 10 cents, depending on your kind of data which you're putting in. So you're no more a user of social media. You are a kind of a product who's being sold on the social media. So with this, I'll take on the questions, and thank you for the panelists for such a wonderful points. Yes.
One quick question.
Yes, sir.
My brother died 8 years back. I still keep getting friend requests from him. Probably we forget as family members that when someone unfortunately expires, what to do about that account, how to close that account.
So practically, there's a methodology of data to be forgotten by all the social media, which we don't activate. Okay, that's a method which you can stop it, and we keep it live, or some of your kin should be able to overtake that particular account. That's another method of doing it. Whether you want to, get along with that account or you want to stop it. So that's a methodology which you have to follow. If you're not followed that, that's a problem.
Digital arrest?
Fantastic question. It's a big, longish. Anybody wants to answer the digital arrest? I think lawyer
What is your
Anuj
question
there.
on digital arrest? You want to understand what it is?
Yes.
See, this is typical hypnotism, nothing else. And life is run by fear as well as greed. And they play it very well. So these are the people who are basically psychologists and the scientists, and they play on the fear that there is a drug in your packet. You very well know there is nobody, your uncle, your chachaji in Hong Kong, but you are still expecting a parcel from him. Right? You have not sent anything to anybody in Honolulu, but you are still worried that your parcel has been found with a drug there. So I think this is complete nuisance and nonsense. Just remember that something which you have not bought will not come to your home for free, and something which you have not sent will of course not be carried by Blue Dart or FedEx through you. That's the crux of it. If you are still expecting that something will befall from heaven on you, that somebody, a very senior person, very, very senior retired person, he paid 40 lakh rupees for digital arrest. And then after that he called me. I said, you already know me. He said, but at that time they said they are just outside my house. You should have invited them for the tea inside. So please, this is complete psychology, nothing else. Anybody claiming to arrest you, there is a law in this country, Honorable Supreme Court has said that for offences up to 7 years imprisonment, 41A notice is mandatory. So more or less all cheating, etc., everything which normally a white collar person like sitting here will do is 7 years imprisonment. So 7 days mandatory notice will come to you and then only you will be arrested. So be assured that no arrest will take place without this 41A notice, and whenever this notice comes, please come to me. I'll get you anticipatory. I'll get you anticipatory bail, okay?
So Captain Tyagi has actually tried to drop a bomb with the word digital arrest. Actually, the whole thing is they play on your insecurity, and that's the bottom line. If you are insecure and you feel something is going to happen to you, digital arrest is happening. And the story that's going around is that there's this lady who was literally, there was a video conference which was held with her. There was a man sitting in a police thana all around him. He created that environment and made her feel that she's done some criminal act like drugs. And therefore she ended up transferring money again and again and, transferred a few lakhs, maybe much more. So it's basically an insecurity, and that's happening all the time. You get an SMS which says, so-and-so thing is, your numbers are getting, your phone number is going to be disconnected, your SIM is going to be disconnected. It's playing on your insecurity. You very well know you paid for a package, what's going to happen to your SIM? But a lot of people click on it and a malware comes in or something else happens.
Why are you insecure? Because you don't have a good friend as a lawyer. That is the only problem. If you have a lawyer friend, you are secure, you are safe.
And
It's a fact.
Just
a
to add
doctor
on,
and a lawyer is required.
you have to educate your parents, because it's very important. Recently, one of my friend's mother, she got a message that electricity will be cut off if you don't deposit that money. Immediately, she just clicked it because there was nobody to help her. She just called somebody like, beta isko thoda kar do, and then money has gone. So you really have to educate your parents. That's very, very important.
Any other question? Yeah.
I want to ask, how safe are these dating apps, Jeevan Sati, and
I was about to come on that, because I've forgotten that the most corrupted, sorry to say, the sites are dating apps, and not the dating, that matrimonial site. Especially the Jeevan Sati, Shadi.com. Even in past, you must have created your profile. Just check, you must be there. And your like photos are floating here and there. So these are like, so whenever you just post your profile or make your profile, you have to be very, very careful, do your scrutiny, check your information. Because thanks to AI, the minute you make a profile, I was handling recent case, the minute you make a profile, not you as a parent, but your daughter or your son will start getting messages through AI. So I think I always tell people it's very, very unsafe. And most of the young boys who are 20, early, 20 to 25, you will find them on dating app, pretending that they are like, a mature guy, and then it's really like unsafe. And widows, and then maybe the married, who pretending they're separated to be like, divorce cases going on. So you have to be very, very careful.
Yeah. Coming back to detection, you can check whether
I just want to say Priyanka is a senior editor with us. I figured out she doesn't have enough work. That's why she's on dating sites. So I'm going to give her 2-3 other magazines to edit. Okay?
And dating app is
coming back.
is up to you how you use it. If you want to use it, what you're really looking for, then you are safe. If you're looking for something else as a male or female, then you'll end up like, putting yourself into trouble.
I think Anurag, she was talking more about cybersecurity, but we've gone into safe men or women. Cybersecurity wise, it depends. What you put into it is what you're losing out on. So you got to be sure what you're putting out is good enough so that it attracts what you're wanting to attract. But at the same time, it's not so good enough that it compromises your data, which you would not like letting loose. So you got to make a very balanced choice.
But coming back to detection, I can say that you can use something called Have I Been Pawned in order to check whether there has been any leak from any app for that matter. You can also do a dark web monitoring report from Google One. And you can also have some software like McAfee, which will tell you whether there have been any breaches. And you can have alerts if there have been any breach. So you can use these tools in order to check whether your data has been breached by anybody. So for instance, a big basket, Zomato, LinkedIn, data gets breached.
Yeah, there was one question here and one lady. So, yeah, please. Yes, yes, yes. So, thank you very much. Really wonderful. I appreciate my panelists. Give them a big round of applause for such a wonderful points what they made in, and especially at 7:45 when we are already there for the cocktails. Late by a couple of minutes, but definitely it was really fun moderating this panel and interacting with all the audience and the panelists. So thank you very much and enjoy your evening. Thank you.